Hello everyone, this is AmberAnkNA here. Welcome to my channel. Well, I play a variety of games and do narrations for fanfics. I'm really hoping you enjoy my content. If you do, make sure to comment below, leave a like, and subscribe with the notifications on. Right, until next time, this is AmberAnkNA. Welcome to my channel. So, hi. Death Row, Chapter 12, Access. It was dark and early when Master's alarm chirped, waking her from a seamlessly dreamless sleep. She stretched her arms, legs, and torso, pressing almost every muscle in her present body. The girl deeply yawned at the height of her stress and then struck in and relaxed. Max noticed her moonlight eyes lighting the offsets in her room, casting shadows across her bed and the far side of the ceiling. She could barely see her darkened reflection in the mirror that hung over her dresser. The light spilling into the room created blurred shadows across her face, like she herself was in prison. Circling around to place her feet on the floor, a jarring thought crossed her weary mind. Chloe! She abruptly remembered the weight of the day, springing up with frenzied shuffle to prepare herself for whatever the universe decided to throw at her. It was indubitably the most important day of the photographer's life, and she would need to step out from behind the camera to confront the greatest challenge she had ever faced. You can do this, Max. You have to do this. She recalled the moment she held the girl's soft hands while visiting her in prison not too long ago. Even though she's been behind bars for better part of 5 years, Chloe's skin remained Max's favorite thing to feel. The reminder of her favorite person's touch sent shivers up and down her arm in a predictable cascading ripple. Shaking off the half-asleep thought, she jumped into the shower for a quick wash. Then she did her teeth and threw on some new clothes. Not wanting to wake her mom, who was still asleep on the makeshift bed they had put together on the couch. Max tried to tiptoe while wildly running around to get herself ready for the day, almost in a panic. Her chest was thumping extra hard. She could feel it in her throat and hear it deep in her ears, rattling with a boom through the empty warehouse of her body. Thousands, if not hundreds, or if not thousands of memories flooded her mind, and it would have been overwhelming if her heart was set on saving the one person who mattered more to her than life itself. One set of memories hung in the background, still feeling distant, probably as a way for her mind to protect itself. Yet they heard it mistily when she focused directly on them. A teacher she once admired had been just kidnapping girls, drugging them, then calling the photos he took art. When she and Chloe stooped around, getting closer, figuring out what was happening, the man drugged her and put a bullet in her best friend's head. Thankfully, she found a way out and returned to an earlier spot in time where she could warn Chloe to stay away from the junkyard. The experience she remembered having in the dark room was terrifying. It would surely haunt her memories for many years to come. Matt was well aware that Chloe's anger sometimes got the best of her, but she didn't believe the girl would ever murder a man execution style. She was on death row for killing Master's funeral teacher, yet she wasn't the person who actually pulled the trigger. The question of how reality seems to get jumbled up still bothered Mass. But there's no time to worry about that now. Her main concern was to get to the prison and somehow gain entry. After gathering her belongings and heading towards her car, an idea suddenly came to the photographer. It was one she almost wished she didn't have. With the prison being heavily guarded and nearly inaccessible to civilians without proper clearance, she knew she needed some sort of levers to get in. This is totally gonna suck. From the phone call she overheard the previous 3 days and the conversation she had with Maria, Max knew Weston and the warrant had some sort of connection. Maybe if she snooped around her boss's office, she would be able to find the information she needed for prison access. First, she needed to get into the frontal her bearing so she could begin her search. Opening the door to her car, Max straight in. She placed her bag and keys on the passenger seat and pulled out her phone. It was still very early in the morning, so she didn't want to bother her colleague. But at this point, she was ready to do whatever she needed in order to get to Chloe. She dialed the one over and over again, but went to voicemail each time. She decided to leave a message. Beep! Hey, Maria! Look, I know it's early, but I need your help. If you get this soon, I need to get into the building at work. Like, right now. It's important. Please call me back. Thank you. She pressed the end button and set her phone in the middle console, plugging it into the car charger. Even if Maria was unable to assist her, she still had to get in somehow. So she cranked the car and backed out of her parking spot at the apartment. She remembered a time when she used her final sensor to bust the handle off of Nathan's dorm room door so she could get inside. She also recalled when she and Chloe broke into Principal Wells' office with a small explosive they created with the help of her friend Warrant. Then, when she rewound, the damage was undone. In both instances, as if she had never been there in the first place. Maybe I could break in, then rewind. This sounds way too simple. Several minutes later, after walking through the rewind process in her head 10 or 12 times, she pulled up to her workplace, nearly avoiding the potholes in the parking lot. She never seen the place with the sun down. The single lamppost did little to light the area. It was located in the center, and the bulb periodically blinked and buzzed with a small electric surge as though it badly needed to be replaced. A glaze of flying night critters flew around the top portion of the lamppost is dim. Amber light was barely touched the steps in front of the double-door entrance. The anxious girl took a deep breath and then closed her eyes for a couple of seconds. She needed a brief moment to build up enough courage to break into a building and potentially steal something if need be. She wished her partner in time were there. She wouldn't be so chicken shit. She opened her eyes and picked up her phone, unplugging and checking to see if Maria responded. The woman hadn't yet, so Max decided to proceed without her. You'll be fine, Max. Be bold for once. Be bold for Chloe. As she got out of her vehicle and started walking towards the front, Master was a strict back car parked adjacent to the subway that lined the stairway. It wasn't directly in front of the sails. It was just parked just to the side in the saddle groom, buried within eyesight. Through the blind seat, we noticed a faint light on in an office at the left corner of the building. Shit, that's Weston's office. She slowly strolled to the entrance and up the ceramic trails, stopping as she reached the doors, looking at the narrow gap between them. Max realized she wouldn't have to break in at all. What she would have to do would be far more difficult. It wasn't just her boss inside. The asshole who attacked her before she undid his actions was not far behind where she stood. There was no doubt in her mind that he would try and force himself on her again, especially in the dark of the early morning with nobody else around. Hoping the man was in his office with the door closed and not wandering in the building, Matt slowly inched the door open. It made a high-pitched squeaking sound that she played when it alert her phone attacker of her presence. With just enough space for her small body to squeeze through, she snaked her way in and closed the door behind. To her relief, her boss was close in his office, apparently talking to someone. Through the walls, she could hear his muffled voice. She thought she heard him saying Chloe's name, but that would be impossible. Everyone was still referring to her as Jade. Despite her better judgment, the girl creeped towards the coroner's office for a better listen. The man seemed to be agitated for some reason, losing his voice and slamming something down his desk or maybe the floor. She assumed Weston was on the phone, but she suddenly heard a girl's simple whimper. Raising her eyebrows, realizing she might be in danger, Matt stopped her at first and began closely shuffling her feet backwards, but it was too late. The door swung wide open, fanning light out into the main workspace of the building. The overhead light wasn't on, but a desk lamp shined a soft light, creating a hollow-like rain effect on the walls she could see from the outside. "Come on in, Matt. We've been expecting you." A chill shiver ran through the girl's body, increasing with every forward step. That voice! It isn't Weston's. From her angle, she couldn't see the people inside, but she knew without a shadow of a doubt her boss wasn't the one she heard speaking. "Oh, don't be shy. Get in here, Matt." There was a sharp edge to the man's voice, and she knew she heard him somewhere before. Newly discovered memories began to trigger, a fond panic surging through her body. She didn't know why, but she couldn't resist the curious urge to see what was happening. Her feet started moving towards the office door before she could make a rational decision, even though the voice in her head was screaming at her to get the hell out of there. "Turn around, Max! Just run away!" Placing her hand on the outside of the entry, Max peeled in and pulled herself inside. The door automatically shut behind her like she was entering a boss's chamber in a Legend of Zelda video game. "No! Chloe!" She hollered in a horrifying shock, mouth hanging wide open in disbelief. "Oh, God!" Her breathing hissed and then trembled as she slowly scanned the far side of the office, trying to make sense of what she was witnessing. It was as if she had stumbled into the gut-wrenching buttressing of a haunted house, where her hands used to be. Freshly strewed, blood-soaked nerves twist at the ends of Chloe's arm. She was restrained at the elbow Ben's torso and legs by ropes in a chair, while photography equipment faced towards the subject. The girl's head was propped to the side on her shoulder, as tears had created isolated trails under her resting eyes. Bruises peppered her face, and sodas in the carpet in the general vicinity was saturated with a solid liquid. A haze of desperation and evil permeated the vacancy. Moss Jefferson was close in the corner, apparently adjusting some sort of scene he had set up. Smaller flash on the barrels were angled inwards towards two objects. The man was moving around to establish a perfect shot. Max blinked a couple of times to clear the mist from her terrified eyes. Her unmoving body was stiffened with fear, but she noticed the two objects were Chloe's dismembered hands. She dropped to her knees, buckets of tears slightly pouring her vision. One was laid sideways against the white wall, while the other had been manipulated with 4 fingers pulled down and the middle remaining up. It's for art, Mass! Don't look at me like that. The bitch loves to hold her middle finger up like some fucking sign that she doesn't give a shit. There's poetry in this shot. That isolated fingers forever frozen in the air, and, well, the subject definitely gives a shit now. The man left with confidence like he had just created some sort of masterpiece. I hope to capture the horror on her face as the realization of the moment set in. I guess saw it from the pain while watching me saw her hands off, caused her to pass out. I had more chances, though, to wake up Emily, and I'd take her feet nests. Then her head. Oh, get up, Max. She's the one who murdered me. Payback's a bitch. Leave her alone, asshole. Chloe's mouse-like voice came through a weakened cough. He can't hurt you anymore. All love is all that matters. The man stirred from his spot, walked up to the bound girl, and strapped her across the face. Still on her knees, filled with disgust and hatred, Max raised her lowered head and made eye contact with the psychopath who growled in her direction. You sit and die, motherfucker! Max! A different woman's voice called out from somewhere in the distance. Tap, tap, tap. With a jerk, Max began raised her head up from the steering wheel, gasping like she hadn't breathed in several seconds. Petrifying images still bounced around in her mind from what she just experienced. Hey, you're awake now? Don't look so sad. I'm leaving you. Thank God that was just a dream. All these memories. Fuck Jefferson. Disorientated, she looked around and saw the interior features of the car. To her left, out the driver's side window, her colleague's concerned face was staring in. Max reached out to wipe the layer of sweat that had formed on her forehead, attempting to calm herself from the horrible nightmare. The keys were still in the innocence, so she pressed the window button down to address the woman. Maria, I'm so sorry. I must have dozed off. She realized the lamppost she noticed earlier. The blinking and buzzing hadn't changed. It was still dark, so the girl must have not been out fairly long. Yeah, your ass was so deep asleep you sounded like you were sawing logs with that snoring. The woman smirked, then plucked an elbow on the lip of the open window. Okay, so why do you want me in so early? Trying to get a good saw on your soy? I got your message and realized I have some work to do too. Might be sneaking my teeth into my next big soy. Oh! The woman paused. Today's the big day. Yeah? Soon as Messi intently stand in the parking lot, seeing no other cars around except hers and Maria's. Thankfully, the corner window didn't glow with activity, giving me a little more confidence that the scene in her head was nothing more than a bad dream. Yeah, something like that. The brunette smile responded, but I need help with something a little more sneaky. Can you let me in? Oh? Maria strutted, twisting a string of back hair around her fingers. Sneaky? Huh. Well, it sounds like fun. I do have a key to the place. She jingled and shook a chain with multiple items of chests. Several keys jingled, most likely including the one Mask needed. Weston trusted me with it a few years ago. I guess it's a part of our unspoken deal. I can sort of do what I want as long as I don't say anything about what we did or try to break up his family. Mask turned her vehicle off, causing Maria to shift her weight backwards. Moving the prop elbow away, half rolling up the window, Mask opened her door and stepped out. She followed the key barrier up to the stairs to the front, then the inside the building. Do what you want. I'll be at my desk. Pretend I'm not even here. She shut and locked the door behind them. Really? Mask was surprised her friend didn't demand answers. You're not going to follow me or ask where I'm going? No questions asked. Thank you, Maria. I owe you one. You owe me more than one by my count. The seasoned journalist spun around her, dramatically disappearing around the portion into her cubicle. Mask set her sights on the office at the end of the hall, this time with a high-paced pace. Since he made it to the door, she hesitated, remembering the vivid scene she watched play out not long before. Inside, she slowly flipped on the lights and headed towards the desk. Visit of her recent night nails still lingered, but she pressed on, pushing them away so she could focus. Lots of printed articles and other loose pages was showed on top of a full desk-sized counter that had black pen marks and meeting times written in, like any other typical workspace environment. She saw a stapler, tape disposer, and pen holder. She used the area, but didn't notice anything that she could use. Sitting down in Weston's chair, Mask decided to check the drawers underneath. She rambled through the first one on the left, making sure to return all the items to the original locations. She considered rewinding, but was certain everything was left as she found it. After the search turned up without success, she continued on, shuffling through the remaining two drawers on the side. Finally, Mask pulled out the more strainer middle drawer and noticed a few credit slips with sizable transfer amounts that seemed important. She took out her phone and snapped a couple of pictures. After capturing several shots, she held the slips closer to her face to get a better look. The first one had the smallest transfer amount of $1.5 million. Mask was no expert on banking transactions, but it appeared the transfer was moving funds into a private account coming from Central California Women's Prison revenue. The second totaled $8 million, and Mask didn't recognize the names. The final transfer amount was a larger $22.5 million. After reading the list of names on the small wallet-sized strip of paper, she pushed back, realizing whatever was happening, many of the people she recently interacted with were involved. The warrant, Weston, and the governor were all listed as receiving a portion of the funds. Holy shit! Did embezzling money? Damn! Someone just pulled up! The older woman expertly said, poking her head into the room, startling the girl in the boss's seat. Hope you found what you were looking for, but it's time to get going, chicka. Maria moved a few steps inside the office, thankfully worn mask to finish as it departed. She placed the strips back where she found them, shut the door, and stirred to leave. A new idea popped into the girl's head, so she quickly fingered through the old school waster dust on the desk and found Jack Thompson's card. Thompson? Isn't that Weston's last name? It showed his title, Warrant and Financial Officer, Central California Women's Prison. As well as his cell phone number, the photographer snapped another quick picture from her phone and spun the waster dust to a random location, not to alert Weston about her snooping. Thinking her calmly as she walked by, Matt stopped in the woman's restroom, peeking out from the open door. Weston hustled by, vanished inside his office, then shut the door. He seemed too busy to care who else was around, taking the opportunity to get back to her car without being spotted. Matt strayed from the restroom and out the front doors, to crank her car and then dash out of the Francisco Hills parking lot. She noticed Dawn's early morning light, giving the object in her view more definition. The lamppost must have had a light sensor had been on the timer, because it was no longer illuminated. Quickly pulling into the parking space just down the road, Matt inhaled, followed by a pronounced exhale as a way of calming her racing heart. She looked at the newly captured photos on her phone and realized she now had to live with. As long as she played her cards right moving forward, she knew how to get inside the prison. Even though there were several bumps in her path, she was ready for the next phase. Hang in there, Chloe. I'm on my way. Hi everyone. This is AmberAnkNA 2000 again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Because, I really did enjoy making it. But, so I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like, and subscribe with the notifications on down below. Till next time, bye!